Hi, my name is Andrew Eldridge, and I'm honored to select the All-State Percussion Etudes for this year's Texas Music Educators Association. The two-mallet selection this year is found on pages 82 through 83 in the book Masterworks for Mallets, compiled and arranged by Beth Gottlieb. Of course, the most important thing to focus on is playing with a great sound quality on the instrument. Avoid overplaying with stiff strokes. This etude is an arrangement of the fourth movement from George Frederick Handel's Violin Sonata No.5 in A major, written during the Baroque musical era. To better match the style, stay light with your approach to the instrument while maintaining a steady tempo. Focus on relaxing the hands during high demand phrases so they can keep moving. Playing harsh downstrokes will only keep your momentum sluggish and make your note accuracy suffer because of it. Of course, be the best rhythmician you possibly can be. Learn to execute the correct notes and rhythms at a slow tempo. I often find young students able to perform individual sections of music, but struggle going over the bar line. When first preparing this etude, tackle short phrases at a time and repeat them often. However, I find it personally helpful to practice each phrase, possibly starting a measure before and ending a measure afterwards to help pre-learn the transitions. Let me show you an example through the music in measures 12 through 18. I'll start in measure 10 and play to the downbeat of measure 21, but my focus is on the arpeggios in rehearsal A. Clarify your stickings and write it in. I call these landmark stickings. Landmarks are going to help you feel more comfortable as you pass them. They are familiar territory and give you points of reference in the music. It's completely okay to change stickings as you mature in the piece and discover different ways to think about the music. I prefer mainly alternating sticking when playing on the marimba to help me get the most even sound possible on the instrument. And because of this, I often experiment with body and feet placement to get mallets out of the way of each other. Here's an example from measures 23 through 25. I want to alternate as much as possible because double strokes may cause a few difficulties later down the road. If I choose a double sticking, I target spots on the keyboard with adjacent notes. Avoid doubling between the rows of keys. In this etude, many phrases contain two-note sequences that either move from C sharp down to B or E up to F sharp. Using the same section as an example, the most logical spot to double stroke is between the G sharp and F sharp, not the highest two notes following the jump. Take time to cultivate opportunities to express your personal phrasing on this etude. This may be the most subjective part of the mallet etudes. Listen to many different sources, including the original setting for violin and piano. Avoid listening to just my interpretation. Through a lot of critical listening, you start to develop your own personal journey throughout this etude. And learn which notes you want to stress and how you want to arrive at certain points in the music. Above all, be very intentional about the phrasing and back up your decisions from evidence gained through your listening study. Before you can perform with convincing phrasing, take care to establish a foundation of a mature sound quality and note accuracy. Remember that a roll is a percussionist's way to emulate long tones. The hand should stay relaxed. If you squeeze too hard with the fingers, the roll will sound too choppy. Avoid accenting the end of a roll. Miss Gottlieb thankfully wrote untied rolls, that is, a roll without a release. Regardless, the tendency may be to accent the note after a roll too harshly. Regarding trills, start these on the diatonic note above the written note. For example, the trill in measure 24 should roll starting on an E natural and between the written D sharp. few trills may require a bit more nuance to stylize more appropriately. In measure 28, for example, I like to start a little bit more open and slightly speed up the hands to help bring out the phrase ending. Your mallet choice should reflect your informed preferences on tone production and the instrument. My choice for this etude are the Vic Firth Robert Van Sice M125 medium hard mallets. I needed a mallet that could stretch the full range of this etude from G sharp below middle C to an E above the treble clef staff. If choosing this mallet, be very careful that you do not overplay the notes below middle C, or the tone can become slightly glassy. If choosing a slightly softer mallet, the tone may become too soft in the upper few notes, forcing the percussionist to overplay. A few rolls may benefit from teeing up the mallets differently. In my experience, many young students tend to roll primarily with the same hand stacked over the other for every roll. Experiment with changing how you stack the hands based on where you need to go with a specific hand following the roll. For example, I tee up with the right hand on top for the roll in measure 11, then switch up to the left hand on top for the roll in measure 12. This helps set me up to lead with the left hand to the C sharp and helps me avoid needing to play any doubles for an even sound. Accents should not be played too heavily. Focus on a slight volume increase or emphasis of the note. After listening extensively to many violin recordings for this movement, I chose to add in a short roll for the eighth notes in both measures 48 and measure 50. Play these short and separated and avoid connecting the rolls to each other. If I may, here are a few mindset tips that help my students and me through preparation for any big performance. Your mindset can change everything about your performance. Henry Ford once famously quipped, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right." Find ways to focus on the musical details while performing. Practice keeping stray thoughts from going through your mind while in the performance flow. Focus on creating productive systems, not goals. You are better served if you have a plan in place for developing a solid foundation in scales and arpeggios rather than mastering the specific arpeggios found in this etude. And lastly, learn to enjoy the process. We spend so much time in the preparation phase, but choose how we feel about music after a single performance. Our fulfillment should come from a positive relationship with this instrument in the practice room. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial over the 2024-2025 Texas Music Educators Association All-State Two-Mallet Etude. I sincerely hope you have fun working on this etude, and if you are auditioning for the All-State this year, I hope you have a great performance and enjoy the ride.